All right, good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing? Good. So I'm really excited that it's March because there's so much happening in the month of March astrologically. I feel like we're going to come into this month one way and leave another. And it's really the start of a new season and everything is just very exciting, right? Yeah, it's this month. So the big thing is that Saturn's going to go into Pisces on Tuesday. And this is a shift that everybody's going to feel, although the area of your life in which it's going to impact you personally will be different. But one of the collective themes that's going to be present, and that's already kind of coming up for me personally, is around boundaries. Because Saturn it's the last visible planet. And what it does is it divides. It's kind of this bridge between what's tangible and what's intangible. And moving into Pisces is this ethereal sign where there are no boundaries, where everything is one, right? It's the sign of compassion and creativity and spirituality and everything that kind of exists beyond this realm, beyond the veil. And so we have this planet that's all about boundaries and restrictions and laws and rules and do it this way, going into a sign that is the exact opposite of that. And I think that although that's a challenging energy, I think what it's really going to do for everyone is to help us really define where it is that we need to strengthen our boundaries. And what do I mean by that? I really mean in our lives in a way that's energetic, emotional, maybe it's structure. It could even show up as like becoming more committed to a spiritual practice, like showing up on your yoga mat and starting meditation and really kind of putting in some structures and formats around that. Or it could be, I think more, we'll see it in a way that's like, where am I giving parts of myself away? Where am I allowing myself to become a martyr, right? To say yes to things that I don't really want to say yes to? In which ways am I acting and living my life that aren't in my best alignment or interest because I've been conditioned to think that this is what's right? And I was just having this conversation with my husband this morning about putting in this boundary around part of our family that doesn't have our best interests in mind. And it's been ongoing for years and years. And I've done this thing where I'm like, I'll protect myself emotionally. I'm not going to share my personal life, but I'm still going to engage because it's family and because we have kids, and let's, like keep that in mind. And it's gotten to a point where I'm like, nope, sorry, I'm just not doing it anymore. It's just, I can't. I need to protect myself because it's needed. And he's like, oh, that's not cordial. I'm like, no, it's protective. It's not like I'm trying to be mean. It's that I'm defending myself and my space. And so where else can we see this? Letting people take advantage of us, doing too much for others, not enough for ourselves. And what Saturn's going to do is just really kind of come in, and either we're going to get it and we're going to put the boundaries in place, or we're not, and it's going to be a hard lesson. That's how Saturn teaches us, but it's for our own good. It's for our own evolution. It's so that, after Saturn puts the squeeze on us, we're like, oh, we've learned this lesson, and we can draw a line in the sand and say no without feeling the need to defend or explain ourselves even. Like, you can just say no to things without being like, oh, I'm sorry, I would, but it's like, no, I just don't want to. You don't even have to say that. You just So today on our mat, we're going to explore this practice with the use of boundaries and how it changes our energetic experience and the shapes of our poses. So we'll use blocks, we'll use the wall. If I decide we'll use straps, I'll pass them out, but I'm not sure yet. So let's sit up nice and tall. And you can use props underneath you. A blanket, a bolster, something to elevate your hips. And take a moment to allow yourself to land physically here in this room and in your body. Just that in of itself is this powerful practice to come home to the boundary that our physical being creates for us. Many of us spend a lot of time disconnected from that. We spend a lot of time in our heads, letting mind wander, going forward into the future, ruminating about the past. We may have an emotion come up and we shut it down, we suppress it, we sidestep it, we avoid it. We do a lot of maneuvering around our present moment. We may feel very disconnected from our body. We wish it was different. It hurts us. So this practice of yoga asks us to find union and oneness with all of those layers and parts of ourselves. And to come home to this container and unify all that is intangible with the physical self that is tangible and part of this physical reality. Bring your awareness to the parts of your body that are connected to the earth and feel that boundary that the earth creates. Personally, I can often feel that there's some resistance, that I feel like I kind of have to hold myself up, even though I'm being supported by the earth. So here, could you let your body settle down, get heavier, become a little more relaxed, and feel a little more supported? From that connection, as you breathe in, lengthen your spine, allow the crown of your head to grow taller. As you breathe in, float your shoulders up, back, and down. Very subtly and slightly lean back, bringing the center of your head right over your tailbone. Take a deep breath in. Let it go with a sigh. Feel your breath in your body. Feel the boundary and the container that your body creates for the expansion and the contraction of each inhale and each exhale. Take one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the movement of the breath in your body. And then bring your awareness a little higher. You could take your inner gaze in and up towards the center of your brain, towards your third eye. And from the third eye, lengthen up through the crown chakra, the center of the top of the head. And feel that energetically, you're connected to something greater than yourself. And feel that all of your chakras, from the center of the top of the head to the base of the tip of the spine, are aligned. This uplifted, straight, central channel. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. And perhaps it's just to look at what areas of your life need some stronger boundaries. Could also be that there are some areas where maybe the structures have become too built up, too enforced and strengthened, where perhaps we need to soften and find a little more vulnerability. So just creating more balance in our life in general around our boundaries, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. We'll seal in our intentions and begin our class with 3 cleansing breaths. Take a deep breath in. Let it go with a sigh. 2 more like that. Gently bow your head to your heart, honoring yourself in advance for your practice today. And then slowly open your eyes and release your hands. If you're in the studio or you're at home and you have a wall available to you, we're going to take our legs up the wall. If for some reason that shape doesn't work for you, or you're at home and you don't have access to a wall, then I'll show you another pose you can do. But first, we'll talk about legs up the wall. So here you may want to use a blanket, especially for under your head. The head can get heavy, so having a blanket where your head could rest is nice. And then you'll come to sit with one hip, I usually have my right hip against the wall. You'll lean back on your hands with straight arms, lift your chest, and then as gracefully as possible, you'll pivot yourself and swing your legs up the wall, coming to recline. You may have to scooch yourself a little closer to the wall or a little further away. And that'll depend on the tightness of your hamstrings. If you know that legs up the wall does not feel relaxing for you, which honestly it didn't for me for quite a long time. I was already a yoga teacher before I really enjoyed legs up the wall. So if that's out, then you'll just lay on your back with your feet as wide as your mat and knock your knees onto each other in constructive rest. So either way, you're working with a boundary. It could be the boundary of the wall and the floor beneath you. It could be the boundary of your own body with your knees knocked, and the boundary of the floor again. And once you're here, see if you could really let your body drop down to the ground. This pose is so good for so many things, but it really will replenish our energy. It'll take all of the stagnant energy that's collected in our legs and allow it to flow down the body into the heart, to be refreshed and pumped back through, cleansing of the blood, cleansing of stagnant, stuck energy. If you like to work with visualizations, you can imagine golden white light pouring down from the universe, moving through the soles of your feet. We have little chakras, energetic centers at the soles of our feet that pick up energy as we walk around all day. So you can allow these chakras to be cleansed and visualize the golden white light moving down your legs and illuminating every cell in your being as it does so. Filling up your pelvis, your stomach, your lungs, your chest, your heart, flowing down through your arms to your fingers, up through your throat, neck, face, and head. Relax your tongue and your mouth. The tongue can become so active, so activated, and press against the roof of the mouth or the back of the teeth when we're carrying unconscious tension, stress. And in the body, everything's connected. So allowing the tongue to get heavy and wide on the lower palate actually releases the pelvic floor. Soften all of the little expression lines on your face. Let all of the tension in your body begin to blur and release. And feel that your mat and the space of your practice is safe and protected. And that your yoga practice, which whether we know it or not, is spiritual in nature. So some people come to yoga for the physical experience, which is wonderful. Yoga will always meet us where we're at. But it opens us up to something greater. And so know that this is a time when you can safely explore that. You can explore that part of yourself. You can work towards unifying the physical with the emotional, with the mental, with the spiritual. So we not only work with the boundary of the wall and the floor in this pose, but we also create an energetic container and a boundary that protects us and helps us to keep what's ours ours and what's not outside of ourselves. And before we begin to come out of this pose, once more, call back your intention. And maybe ask yourself what it is that you would need to reclaim in order to actualize your intention, to fully embody it. And then let's take 3 more cleansing breaths here. Full breath in. Let it go with a sigh. 2 more like that. And then you can begin to slide your feet down the wall, if your legs are up the wall. Taking your time. You can pause here, or come onto your right side and pause curled up in a little ball. Maybe it feels better to just hug your knees into your chest right now. You listen to your body, listen to your intuition. Then you'll slowly make your way up to all fours. We'll come into a tabletop position here. You can move your props off of your mat. And then set up your structure. Set up your body in such a way that you're consciously placing your body on the earth and consciously stacking your bones to create the most support for yourself. So your index fingers point straight ahead. The pinkies can touch the outer edges of your mat, evenly spread. Walk your knees back until they're just under your hips or slightly behind. Notice if you just let the belly hang and the low back have a overarch to it. And if so, create a boundary there. Draw your navel in. Melt your heart. Extend out through the crown of your head. And then once you have that, once you have your boundaries and your structure, and you're holding that, move from there. Inhale, arch your spine, take your gaze up. Exhale, round through your back, draw your belly in. Allow your breath to be your guide. Notice the parts of yourself that are tight, that are tense. Notice areas of discomfort. And then notice areas of hypermobility. So we'll naturally have parts of the body that we need less armor, less rigidity. Usually this is around the heart, around the upper back. We need more movement there, right? More flexibility. And then we have areas where we give our power away. The low back lacks support from the front body for most of us. So we have to engage, draw in our core, tighten up our abs, create some protection for ourselves. So areas where we need more protection and areas where we're overprotective and we need more softening and vulnerability. These show up in our body. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine. Tuck your toes if they're not already. Press your hands down into the ground and press back into downward facing dog. Now all of a sudden, our boundaries, our foundation got a lot smaller. And this can be a really challenging pose if we're not used to, balancing on our hands. So root down more. Press the mat with your fingertips. Feel the bones of your index fingers and your thumbs root to the ground. Hug your arms in towards each other. Imagine that you can hide your armpits from the person next to you. And then press your chest back towards your thighs. Lengthen through the crown of your head towards your thumbs. Breathe. You can pedal out through your legs here, bending one knee and sending the opposite heel towards the earth. And feel what's happening in your body. It's amazing how much time can pass without us tuning into what's happening to our body. I mean, it can literally be years. So yoga really is this mirror that asks us to reflect, to gaze and to see what we find. What do we see when we address ourselves this way? On your next inhale, walk your feet forward and move your hands. Exhale as you fold. Knees can bend, especially if the hamstrings are tight. And then as you inhale, lengthen your spine halfway to a flat back. Take your shoulder blades onto the back of the heart. Reach out through the crown of the head, extend out through the tailbone, then lift your belly and exhale, fold. Flow like this, inhale to lengthen. Exhale to bow. Few more. The next time you bow in, pause. And on your next inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. So here, find Tadasana, mountain pose, top of your mat. Check out your feet. Are they parallel? I mean, really, are they? Oftentimes we're like, yeah, they're fine. But are they parallel? Look at the pinky toe edges of your feet. Press down through the big toe mound, the pinky toe mound in the center of your heel. Activate your legs, hug your shins in, lift your kneecaps, press your thighs back, lengthen your tailbone down, draw your belly in, knit your ribs in, so your front ribs draw into the body, and then lengthen your sternum. Take your shoulders back and down, arms by your sides, palms face forward. Reach up through the crown of your head. This is a different container that you've created for your body, for yourself and your experience. And if you just stood without intention, right? You've created a whole new set of boundaries just in the way that you stand. Then root into the earth with your feet and inhale, reach your arms high to the sky. Exhale, swan dive forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen into a flat back. And exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts as you inhale. Exhale, lunge your right foot forward, all the way up in between your hands. This may take 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps, a lot of pooching. Right? You want your right knee over your right ankle. So we're stacking the bones in such a way that are going to create safe boundaries and containers. Press your left thigh up to the sky. And everybody lift your lips, okay? Lift your lips into a smile. There we go. Lift your hips a little higher than you think. And hug them in towards each other. So your right hip moves back, your left hip moves forward. From there, you can sink your whole pelvis down towards the earth, but keep that back thigh pressing up. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches, twist. And then bend your elbow, bring your right hand to your right shoulder. Just to the head of your shoulder. Curl the shoulder back. Yeah, open up your heart. See if you can twist a little more. And then extend the arms straight up to the sky. Yes, nice, breathe. Exhale, release, downward facing dog. You can stay right here in downward facing dog. You can create a safe container in child's pose, or you can move through a vinyasa, inhaling forward to a high plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts as you inhale. Lunge it forward as you exhale. Take your time. So the left knee stacks over the left ankle. Yes, good. From here, lift your hips higher. Draw the left hip back, right hip forward. Keep that, then the pelvis can sink down towards the ground. Press your right thigh up to the sky. Press out through your back heel. Right hand down. Inhale, left arm reaches. And then from here, you'll bend your elbow. Bring your hand to the head of your arm bone, to your shoulder. And then curl the heart open. Take the shoulder back, heart back, lean back, and then extend the arm as a natural extension from the shoulder, from the opening of the heart. Right? The arms are just an extension of the energy of our heart's opening. Breathe. And then exhale, release. Downward facing dog. Same 3 options. What is the best option for you? And mine, our stuff can show up in yoga. It's like, well, everybody else is doing a vinyasa. Maybe I should do a vinyasa. I don't want to be the only one in child's pose. So we're asked to reclaim ourselves time and time again on our mats. To really tap in to see, what is it that I really need? Sometimes maybe we're the person who's always in child's pose, and what we need is a little more strengthening, a little more movement, creating some heat by taking the vinyasa. So we just explore. Once again, right leg lifts as you inhale, lunge it forward as you exhale. This time, pivot your back heel down. Find heel to arch alignment, and when you're ready, cartwheel your arms up, warrior 2. Same thing here. We want the knee either over the ankle or behind it. If your knee is moving in front of your ankle, you need more space, right? We're going to stack the bones, create the structure, create the container and the boundary for the experience of the physical body. Center of the head comes right over the tailbone. The tendency is to lean the torso forward. So see if you could take your left side body back, flip your palms, draw your shoulder blades together on the back of your heart. Keep that, palms turned down, gaze out over your right middle finger. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Nothing changes in your legs. Lean back, heart open, gaze up, breathe. Press into your front foot, straighten your front leg, keep leaning back. And then exhale, release both hands to your hips. Pivot your right foot in, so you're in a wide-legged form, wide-legged stance. Feet are parallel here. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, bow forward. Your hands can come down to the ground. They could come to your blocks. So yoga, we do all these poses that whether we know it or not, many of them are inversions. And what does this mean? This means our head is below our heart. So here we are inverting, giving ourselves a different perspective, allowing the blood to move in different ways in the body, to be cleansed and recirculated. And to literally see our lives, ourselves, and our experiences in a different way. Inhale, lengthen your spine halfway. We take a few breaths here to come back to center. Find a little more homeostasis, especially if we're not used to having our head hanging low like that. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale all the way up to stand. And then from here, turn your left toes out. Bend your left knee. So if your knee starts moving past your ankle, give you more space. You need to toe heel your back foot back. Center of the head comes right over the tailbone. That's it, yeah. And then extend your arms straight out in line with your shoulders. Flip your palms, shoulder blades onto the back of the head. Keep that, relax the shoulders down, palms down, gaze out over your left middle finger. There's also a reason in yoga why there's so many warrior poses. This practice of unifying all parts of ourselves, of holding space for our light and our shadow, it requires a ferocity, fierce goddess energy. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. So we challenge ourselves. We say, can I hold this shape, although it's not easy? Can I hold this shape, although it may be uncomfortable? Can I stay here and stand strong in this pose and in who I am? And can I breathe through it, knowing that it won't last forever? Press into your front foot, straighten your front leg, lean back. Inhale, arms back to center, hands to your hips, to your left, toes in. Exhale, bow forward. Can you resist your shoulders away from the ground? Lengthen the crown of your head towards the earth. Inhale, lengthen the spine halfway. Exhale, hands to your hips, and inhale, come all the way back to stand. Toe heel your feet in, so outer hip distance apart. Turn your feet to face out slightly. Hands to your heart. Imagine you have a stack of yoga blocks on your head. You're going to keep that as you slowly bend your knees, coming into Malasana, squat. So you'll see you can come all the way down. From here, press your legs into your arms back into your legs, and lift your heart. And then exhale, release, come down to sit, have your blocks nearby. And then lay down on your back. With your knees bent, with your feet on the ground, take a moment and just feel the support of the earth beneath you.
Inhale, reach your arms overhead and just lengthen out of your hips. Get a full upper body stretch. And then exhale, bend your elbows by your sides with your fingertips pointing up towards the sky. So little robot arms here for bridge. You'll press the backs of your arms down into the ground. See if you could take your shoulder blades onto your back a little bit more. The occiput of your skull, where your spine attaches into your skull, that back part of your head that's on the ground, press it into the earth. And notice how when you work with these boundaries and engage into the earth, it changes the experience of the pose. Feel your feet on the ground and root into the earth. Inhale, lift your hips high. Coming into bridge. Heart moves towards your face. You can extend your arms and interlace your hands behind your back. But if you do, the full length of your arms becomes part of the foundation of the pose. Can you press your arms into the ground? Lift your chest a little higher. Breathe. Exhale, release the clasp of your hands. If you clasp them, slowly lower your spine all the way to the ground. Your pelvis come down. Take the soles of your feet together and your knees wide. One hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. If this is a lot on your hips, take your blocks under your upper thighs. Breathe. Inhale your knees back up to center. We'll set up for another bridge. This will be a supported bridge, so please have a block nearby. You'll set yourself up for bridge again. Fingertips up towards the sky. Press the backs of your arms down. Root into your feet. Inhale, lift your pelvis. And then take a block and bring it underneath your sacrum at whatever setting is most appropriate for your body. And then we'll let the block take the full weight of your pelvis. Arms can be down by your sides with your palms face up. And see where you could let go and not work so hard here. You could stay just like this. And if your block's up high, you may want to drop it a little lower. You'll decide. The option is to take your right leg up to the sky. And then bring your left to meet it. Heart stays lifted. You're supported by a block. And see if you could straighten your legs or move them towards straight. And keep your bones stacked so that your femurs, your thigh bones could slide right into your hip sockets. And then one at a time, you'll bring your feet back down to the ground. Once you feel the connection to the earth, press down, lift your hips, move the block, soles of your feet together, knees wide, one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Come back to your breath. Inhale your knees back to center. Roll to your right side. Come on up just so that you can position yourself to, if your feet are towards the wall, you might not need to come all the way up. We're going to come to lay on our backs with our feet on the wall in line with the knees. So that'll look like this. Both feet on the wall. Knees bent, knees stacked over your hips so that your shins are parallel to the ground, 90-degree angle at the knees. From here, you'll cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh and flex your right foot. So this is a reclined pigeon, which we do often in gentle yoga and in regular yoga. But we don't always use the wall. So here, use this boundary, this structure, to create more stability, to experience the pose in a different way. Press your foot into the wall. And then from your right hip, your right leg presses away from the body towards the wall. Relax your shoulders back and down. Could let your arms come down to the ground with palms face up. Can you keep the weight even through the sacrum, through the pelvis? Check back in with your tongue and relax all the little muscles of your face. Widen the corners of your eyes and let your eyeballs descend back into their sockets. then switch sides, bring your right foot back to the wall. Your left ankle crosses on top of the right thigh. This side may be a completely different experience. Notice if there's asymmetry in the body and see if you can embrace it. Or explore it with some curiosity. Like, oh, that's interesting. Can you relax the weight of the body, allowing it to be supported by the wall and by the earth and by your bones? Hug both knees into your chest. Take your knees wide, soles of the feet up towards the sky. Grab onto your ankles or the pinky toe edges of your feet and happy baby. And then whenever you're ready, in your own time, you'll set yourself up for Shavasana. Lay down on the ground so your body can comfortably rest. Add some layers, blankets. Take time to set yourself up so that you're cozy and settled. Let your feet gently open to the sides. Arms are down by your sides with your palms face up. Just far enough away from your body so that a warm breeze could reach your armpit. Allow your head to get heavy. Make a little space between your lower jaw and your upper jaw. Give yourself permission here to fully surrender, to completely relax, to let go of any pattern
any thought, any behavior, any part of your life that's no longer in alignment with your highest self that you'd like to release. Let it go. Drop back and down into the safe container and boundary that is your physical body as you take Shavasana. Very slowly and gently begin to deepen your breath. Call all of your awareness back to your body. Call all of your awareness back to your body. And then slowly begin to awaken and enliven fingers, toes, bringing small movements into the physical self. You can move and stretch any way that your intuition guides. Hug your knees into your chest. Gently roll to your right side and take a moment to pause. In your own time, knowing that there's no rush, you'll come back to find a comfortable seat. Once you arrive, close your eyes. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, palms pressed in prayer. Call back your intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. And honor yourself for this work that you've done by showing up on your mat, by moving your body, uniting your breath with your movement, holding space for all parts of yourself, and coming home to that highest part of who you are. that's aligned with your highest good and that's always available, that light within us that's ever glowing and always bright. Let's call back those intentions one final time. We'll end our class and seal them in with a final cleansing breath. Take a deep breath in. Let it go with a sigh. Gently bow your head to your heart. The light within me recognizes and honors this very same light, each one of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much for your practice. It's so great to be here with all of you today in the studio and at home. There won't be class next week. I'm completing a Reiki 2 training here that starts at this time, but then I'll see you the following week. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Get ready for Saturn. It's a full moon that day too. All right.
Thanks, Erin.
Saturn's been in my second house in my chart, which is for finances, for the past 2.5 years. I'm like, go.
Thank you for the hard lesson. See you in another 30 years.